The White Bear Area Chamber of Commerce and SCC TV are proud to present Your Business Matters, dedicated to your business needs. The White Bear Area Chamber is a nonprofit business organization serving as advocates to the White Bear area and its business community. Now, here's the Executive Director of the White Bear Area Chamber and the host of Your Business Matters, Tom Snell.
Welcome to Your Business Matters, brought to you by the White Bear Area Chamber of Commerce. Each month, we interview community leaders and local business owners so you can be informed about the developments in your community. Today, I'm pleased to welcome Craig Drake, the new chair of the White Bear Lake Rotary. Craig and I will discuss the incredible activities and community service projects provided by your local White Bear Lake Rotary Club. Craig, thank you very much for joining us today on Your Business Matters.
Thank you, Tom. My pleasure.
What I want to know, first of all, Craig, is what is the Rotary? And I want to look at it from a global perspective. What are some of the things that the Rotary does internationally? How many countries is it involved in? And are there a lot of people around the world that actually make up the membership of Rotary?
Great question, Tom. Yes, the Rotary International Club is 1.2 million people worldwide.
Over 1 million members worldwide. Wow.
200 countries are represented, more countries than were represented at the last Olympic Games.
I mean, that's like bigger than the UN.
Yeah, it's an amazing organization.
Yeah.
There's over 33,000 clubs in Rotary International, so they're all over the world. A really active, engaged group of community citizens trying to make the world a better place.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. What are some of the things that the Rotary has been involved in, again, from a global perspective?
Probably the biggest piece that people might recognize is polio. Polio has been not fully eradicated from the world yet, but we're down to just 4 countries and only a handful of cases diagnosed so far this year. The biggest challenges that we face are with basically political issues with countries that don't want Westerners coming in and immunizing their people. So it's been a fascinating journey to try to get those last few cases eradicated.
Done. And this is something that the Rotary has taken on as a real focus, is the eradication of polio then.
In fact, several years ago, Rotary International thought maybe we should take this on, and at first people kind of laughed thinking, what do you guys think you can do here? Well, along the way, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation joined our efforts.
Really?
And have been very, very active in helping to fund what's required to eradicate polio.
Wow, and so this has just been an international effort provided by all of the various local Rotary clubs.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, does the Rotary have a foundation? I mean, for you mentioned the Gates Foundation gave money to Rotary. So do they have an arm that takes the money for things like the polio program, right?
Yes, Rotary International does have a foundation.
Yes.
As far as foundations go, it's a very efficient foundation. Most of the dollar that's given goes to the cause. So they're very highly rated.
So it's a highly rated foundation. Now, going back a little bit into the White Bear Lake Rotary, does the White Bear Lake Rotary provide any financial assistance to Rotary International? Do you have a direct connection with them?
Absolutely. As members of Rotary, we have the choice to make contributions to the foundation. We call it a Paul Harris Fellows. If somebody donates $1,000 per year, they earn that award, if you will. And that money actually can come back to the communities via grants and other things. So it's a very, very creative way they've set up.
To set up. So the money can also be used then for local local community projects in White Bear.
Exactly.
Is it so the White Bear Rotary just funds projects in White Bear then locally, or do they fund things outside on a more regional basis?
We fund things both locally in our community as well as internationally.
Okay, all right.
So we have an international committee that focuses on international programs.
On issues related to situations around the world where some funds can be useful.
Yep.
I think I remember about 2 years ago that Rotary raised some money for destruction in the country of Nepal. And I think I remember that they raised several $1,000s for that. So now, how does Rotary in White Bear, how do they go about bringing in revenue for some of your local projects that you're involved in?
Yeah, great question. So every year we hold kind of our major fundraiser called the Taste of White Bear Lake.
Okay, all right.
And interesting enough, our taste will be held this Saturday, the 9th of September
Yes.
at Pine Tree Apple Orchard. And the funds that we raise there go towards a lot of the projects I've mentioned already. Whether it's Costa Rica building a computer lab in some of the schools there, or Nigeria putting restrooms and sanitation facilities in 8 schools in that country.
Really? Okay.
You know, one of the things I learned is that in third world countries, for females to go to school, it's a big deal. But to use a restroom, to have to go out behind a bush, and then they get raped, it's not good. So we're trying to give them facilities so that they can go to school with confidence and learn. So
okay.
Pretty amazing stuff. And then locally, we'll fund programs such as the Matamidi Triangle Park that just got completed this summer right in the heart of downtown Matamidi there. We worked with them to come up with a nice area for people to relax when they're riding their bikes, etc. So.
And I think they also do some support for things like the women's shelter and food shelf and some of those other projects.
In fact, our club in the winter sponsors the Bear Lake Open, which is the golf tournament on frozen ice, frozen White Bear Lake.
All right.
And through the years, we've generated enough money for the purchase of over $1 million worth of food for the food shelves here in this area.
Really, over $1 million in services for this area. I think that some people might have a kind of a misnomer about White Bear and some of the surrounding areas, that really there isn't an issue related to service needs and poverty, but I think from some of the things that you've said about Rotary that may not be the case.
Unfortunately, you're right. And I think for many of us in society, we don't understand what's happening right beneath our noses, but there's definitely a need. And if you talk to the people at the food shelf, you understand that it's right here, right amongst us.
Okay, all right. Now, White Bear, if you compare the White Bear Rotary with some of the other service organizations, and I would say let's look at the entire Twin Cities area, how would White Bear Rotary compare? Is it a pretty vibrant organization? I know a lot of the service organizations are really running into problems with recruitment, an inability to get people to participate that might be in the what's called the millennial generation or the Gen X generation, getting those people involved in some of the service projects and service clubs around our various communities. From my understanding, the White Bear Rotary has done a pretty decent job of keeping up with your numbers throughout the years. Is that correct?
That is correct, Tom. We're blessed that we have a very active club, very involved club. And currently we're at roughly 90 members, and we are a growing club. We've had great success because, honestly, I think we have a lot of fun. And when people come to visit us and they see the camaraderie and the friendship, they want to be a part of that. And so, yes, we're doing good things around the community, but we're also having some fun along the way, which makes it all worthwhile.
So there's a lot of volunteer opportunities for people to become part of Rotary.
Yes.
Is it difficult? I mean, if somebody wanted to become part of Rotary, is it some kind of a long, elongated process in order to become part of this wonderful organization here in our community?
You know, I think Rotary's not for everybody. We have to admit that.
Right.
But if you're interested in being a part of community, giving back, making a difference, I would encourage people to come join us on Wednesday mornings at 7 at Rudy's. They'd get to meet a lot of our Rotarians, get a sense for what our programs are like. And if they walk away saying, I kind of like that, come back again.
All right.
It's not that big a deal. It's a one-page application. We have our board approve it, and
that's it. And then you're typically can become part of become a Rotarian here in White Bear. Well, that's great. We're going to just take a real quick break. I've got a couple of announcements to make, and then we'll be right back. On Wednesday, October 4th, the Chamber celebrates our local business community at our annual Business Achievement Awards. This year, we're pleased to have as our special guest speaker Tim Pawlenty, the former governor of the state of Minnesota, and he's currently the president of the Financial Services Roundtable. Then on Monday, October 30th, the Chamber will hold its 4th annual Green Business Expo at the Mung House in North St. Paul. This event runs from 5 to 7:30 p.m. It offers area businesses an opportunity to learn about important tax cost savings through recycling and energy use. It's free to attend, and appetizers and a cash bar will be available. Please visit the Chamber website, hyperlink WTPP www.whitebearchamber.com. With me today is Craig Drake, the current chair of the White Bear Lake Rotary Club. Craig, I wanted to ask you about some things about fun, Rotary and fun. A lot of times when you think about fundraising for projects, it can be, no offense, it can be kind of a grim experience. You know, I've got to go out, raise this money, and I have to be really, this is a project, so I really can't have fun about it. So you mentioned something earlier about people having fun doing things. Yeah. Can you go into that, elaborate a little bit?
Sure. You know, I think the key to having fun is that no one person is burdened with the entire task.
Okay. Yep.
And our club will roll up their sleeves and help.
Yep.
So this year I'm in charge of the Taste of White Bear Lake event, and yes, it's a big event, and yes, I put some hours into it. But every time I've gone to ask for help, people are stepping up and doing it.
Yeah.
And you know, the day of, it's going to be a blast. I mean, we've had so much fun. This is our 6th annual. And we know it's such a great cause and such a fun day, and our vendors come out with great food and drink and all of that.
Vendors.
Yes.
Okay, I want to get into that a little bit too. This Taste of White Bear, approximately how many people do you expect will show up for that?
We've sold 670 tickets.
Wow.
And we don't expect all of them to show, but we predict most of them will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what does somebody get when they come to the Taste of White Bear? You said Taste of White Bear. Does this mean you have lots of opportunities to take part in some of the local restaurants? Or?
So we're fortunate in White Bear to have a lot of very generous restaurants. And so we have several of them that will be giving away samples of some of their more popular fare at the event, as well as liquor, wine, and beer. And we also have a silent auction, so many of our businesses have donated gifts. People can do the silent auction piece as well. We'll have some entertainment there. We'll have a cork pull. It's just a really, really fun day.
Wow, okay, and this is something, and then the money, again, that's raised goes to various community service projects.
It does.
So this is a fun project that some people have been involved in, and also it offers a community a real showcase, and then the money raised all goes to good things. So it's a win-win-win all the way around.
It definitely is. And our restaurants get exposure to people that may not have experienced them yet.
Oh, wow, so you get that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Great. How about the other big fundraiser that you have in the winter?
Yes.
So people actually play golf.
Yes, I know. As Minnesotans, we do some crazy things, especially in the winter. And in early February, as part of the St. Paul Winter Carnival, we host what we call the Barely Open Golf on Ice event.
Yes.
And that event has been very, very successful.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. We set up a golf course on the ice. And we have people sponsor each hole, so some sponsors will get very, very creative in what they do. Sometimes, you know, there's little prizes if you can hit your ball a certain way or whatever, and people come in costume.
They do.
They're not dressed in typical winter garb. They're dressed up wearing all kinds of things, and yeah, it's a fascinating day.
And you said sponsorship. So businesses have an opportunity then to also have sponsorships in not only the Taste of White Bear, but also the winter Barely Open.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what does a business need to do if they want to get that additional exposure while they're doing something to help the community and do something for our local charities?
I think the best way to connect with us is just go to whitebearrotary.org.
Okay.
And you can send us an email, let us know what you're thinking of doing, and we'd be happy to get back to you and let you know what options there are.
Okay, so businesses can also get some exposure from this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, a little bit of history about the Rotary. Do you know how long the White Bear Rotary approximately has been around?
It was founded in 1979. 79.
Oh, okay. So it's been around for
a while.
Close to 40 years then.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And are some of the people that were involved in at the beginning, are any of them still around? Or?
You know, I'm not sure if there's any from the
Okay.
very, very beginning, but a lot of them have been around a really long time.
Okay.
Which is great.
And how many Rotary, do you know, are there very many Rotary clubs located in the Twin Cities area?
Yes, I don't know the count, but there are several in the
Okay.
Twin Cities area and pretty much all areas around the world, for that matter.
And you have 90 plus people that are in Rotary.
Yes.
And you mentioned that they join maybe because they have a little fun. But again, I want to get back to one of the questions that I asked earlier, and that involves about, I've read recently that the number of people in social clubs have dwindled or fallen down over the years. And we did mention that in White Bear that's not the case. Do you think there's any secrets that other social clubs might be able to learn from some of the experiences that you've done in White Bear, in the White Bear Rotary Club, how you've continued to grow and prosper? And there's you have a number of younger people too that have joined Rotary, and what might be some things that a person can learn that might be in a social club or another community organization based on some of the things that Rotary has done that have been useful?
You know, I think our club, we're pretty flexible. In the true sense of the word, Rotary wants us to go to every weekly meeting, and we know that in reality that can't happen. So our club allows makeups. You know, you can go to different events that we have as a makeup if you choose to, you know, keep your attendance up.
Yeah.
We also, I think I keep getting back to the fun. I mean, I want to go every Wednesday morning, and I want to believe that Rotarians that show up want to go.
Sure.
You feel good. You feel good about being part of something bigger than you, about giving back, about making a difference in our community.
Yeah.
It's and like I said earlier, it's not for everyone. But if you're inclined to want to be a part of something bigger than you and give back, I feel it's a wonderful venue for doing
and
that.
part of that might be because of the makeup of the people of White Bear Lake too.
Yeah,
Obviously.
it could be a reflection on our town.
in our community.
Our area.
Now, getting back again to some of the other aspects of the White Bear Lake Rotary, you mentioned that they give money both internationally and locally. Is there any administrative costs or much administrative costs associated with if somebody gives money locally to Rotary and it goes to something like the food shelf?
It depends. I would say if someone wants to give directly to the food shelf and that's their goal, they could give it either to the food shelf or to the Greater White Bear Area Community Foundation.
Okay.
Our club would take a donation and use it in a variety of ways.
Okay.
But if a participant or a giver wants it in a specific way, I wouldn't say that Rotary would be the way to go there.
Okay.
So.
Now, we mentioned earlier about if a person is interested in Rotary and they're committed to the community, there are certain things that they can do in order to participate in it. What are there ways that a person can come to Rotary and check it out?
Absolutely. Every Wednesday at 7. Just show up, you sign in as a guest. When you come the first time, you're given, we always joke, 47 seconds to stand up and introduce yourself to the group. And you get a chance to meet some of the others, talk to some of the others, have a nice breakfast at Rudy's, and figure out if it's a fit.
So an in-person can do that just by connecting with another person from Rotary,
or just showing up.
Showing up and getting a chance to do that at 7:30 on
7 a.m. on
7 a.m. on Wednesday morning.
Correct.
To sign up to go to Rotary. So, now, any other aspects of Rotary that you have the two big fundraisers a year? Are there any other interesting things that Rotary does for the community besides that?
You know, I think another big thing is the beach dance. So as part of Manitou Days, the beach dance on that Friday night during Manitou Days, we'll run the concession stand there.
Okay.
And the money that we raise there, we dedicate towards a community project. So at the end of Clark Avenue and Lake Avenue,
yes,
there's that area where you can sit. It's Rotary branded. We worked with the city of White Bear Lake to set that up. And we paid for that over several years. Matamidi Triangle Park is another example of the funds from the beach dance being used for that. And our more recent initiative now is Lakeshore Players. Rotary of White Bear has agreed to sponsor the ticket booth at the new Lakeshore Players.
The new theater is going up.
And that's a big commitment. It'll be a several-year commitment that we make. But so those are the kinds of things that we do locally as well.
Now, if somebody wants to look up the Rotary, how do they go about doing that?
WhiteBearRotary.org.
That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do.
Okay, and then if anybody's got any information from you, is it okay if they contact you? Or?
Absolutely, they can do so right through the website.
Okay.
I get emails through the website a lot.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you, Craig, for joining me today. I'm Tom Snell, and again, thank you for watching Your Business Matters.
You've been watching Your Business Matters. For more information on this program or the White Bear Area Chamber, visit whitebearchamber.com or call 651-429-8593.